Hello there, Ado here from Resource Investment Media. So this is my first video for this channel, and I was going to focus this video just primarily on kind of giving you some information about what the channel is going to focus on and why it may provide sufficient, I should say, value for you as a viewer, and why you should perhaps devote a little bit of your spare time in towards listening to the channel. So the channel is going to be resource and commodities, I should say, focused, which is pretty obvious from the name of the channel. And I guess the first natural question would be why? Why is the channel going to focus within the field of resources and commodities? And my basic or most simple answer would be that I, in my very, very humble view, think that resources and commodities do not only have a few good years in front of them, but perhaps an entire good decade in front of them. I believe that underinvestment within resources and commodities for a period of perhaps well above 20 years has created a supply deficit. This, in combination with geopolitical tensions, has put a premium on security of supply, which I think very well may end up forming the perfect storm for commodities and issue a commodities super cycle. And that is something that I, as an investor, am very, very interested in partaking in. I'm very interested in myself widening my knowledge within the field, and perhaps in doing so helping you also acquire a bit of knowledge within the field of resources and commodities. So I guess the second question would be, when we have established what the channel is going to focus on, why am I a person that perceives myself as knowledgeable enough to talk within this field, or at least to talk sufficiently within this field? And I guess I would say my profession of working within accounting and auditing for a period of 10 years has made me somewhat of a nerd when it comes to digging into financial information, and I love to look through financial reports of resource and commodity stocks. It's something that interests me heavily, and it's something I enjoy quite a lot. So that does give me, I guess, a numbers-based knowledge within these companies and within this field that perhaps can separate myself from the common YouTuber talking about this space, and perhaps give a added value towards you as a listener and as a viewer. So I think that's what I would summarize, that's perhaps the reasoning towards why I think I'm adequate within this field, or adequate enough at least to talk within the field. And I guess to give a final little viewpoint on what the channel is going to do would be a little bit, how are the videos going to be structured? In which way am I going to help both myself and you learn within the fields of resources and commodities? And I would say that there's going to be two types of videos. First of all, I'm going to try to do as many interviews as I can within people who work in resources and commodities, because I think this is the best way to learn, both in regards to myself and towards you who is listening or viewing, or both, I should say, for some of you. I think this is going to be an important part of the channel. And another part that I'm going to do is resource recap videos, which is essentially just going to be daily news about resources, commodities, stocks within these fields, the economy in general, because the economy in general does to a heavy degree intertwine with the resource and commodities market. They do not exist in a vacuum outside of the economy. So these resource recap videos will perhaps be more in the 10-minute range, maximum 15, and we'll just focus on a daily news flow, or maybe bi-daily news flow. And the interview videos will be a bit longer, and I should say a bit deeper, and they will focus on perhaps doing interviews with people who work at specific mining companies, or who in general have a vast knowledge in the space of resources and commodities. So I guess that's a good summary of what the channel is going to focus on what I'm going to try to do with the channel, and perhaps also a little bit of insight towards you, the listener and viewer, into who I am, into the way I display myself, into what I focus on, and perhaps a little bit of a display towards why it can be beneficial or valuable to you to put in a minute or two into the channel when you have some spare time within the hectic schedule. So gonna keep it short there, just an introduction video. Pleasure to electronically meet your acquaintance for the people watching it, and looking forward to producing more and more content for the channel. So cheers.